Well, they say if you give a woman a right pair of shoes, she can rule the world. And if her soul has that dark shade of red, even better. With me, the one and only Mr. Christian Louboutin. Thank you so much for speaking to us. So, you know, your shoes are a work of art, but I want to know the story behind the red sole.
Well, behind the red soles was just like a little piece of paper and a pen. I draw all of my shoes, so it starts by a piece of paper and a pen. But what I do when the shoe gets transformed into a reality, I keep the drawing and I look what looks the best. And I'm always trying to have really the drawing being transformed with the minimum of changes. And so the first time, so I had a collection of shoes that I had drawn, and they were very inspired by pop art, 60s pop art, so they were all with bright colors. So when I saw the shoes, a definite shoe which was fitting and etc., there was something which was better on the drawing. And looking at both, I did not see the difference. It's only when I took the shoe and I put it from the behind, so you see the heel up front, and then the sole. The sole was a big black stain in a way. And I thought, there's too much black, there is no black at all in my drawing. So if I could erase that big black sole, maybe it would transform as my drawing. So I took a nail polish. The girl who was trying on the shoes, Sarah, was painting her nail because she was finished with like trying the shoes for the day. So I grabbed her nail polish. We had a bit of a fight, but I managed to get the nail polish and then painted the sole with the red nail polish. And then it looked exactly like my drawing. And I thought, that's it, you know, that's exactly what happens if I want something with nothing dark. I just have to have something bright as a color on the sole. So I was thinking to maybe do one color per season, and then after I decided to stay with the red.
And it's become your signature style.
Exactly.
So if you could sum up the luxury of a red sole in one word, what would it be?
In one word, it would have to be passion.
Ah. And also, what do you say, what should a shoe do? What is important? I mean, what would you say? What is that one thing that a shoe must do?
Yes, I think that what a shoe must do is to be able to appear and also be able to disappear. There should be some magic in the shoe. Some shoes are status pieces and show pieces, which is a thing that I love and I enjoy doing. But some shoes definitely also should have this power to appear, but also to disappear. So I have to explain. If you look at the person who has the shoes on, the shoes should be able to be fading in the silhouette. And what you're looking at is a silhouette, and it's a woman. It's not a piece on a woman, you know. It's a woman. But then if you look closer, the shoes should be able to appear and to look beautiful, but should be there to the service of the woman. That's why it needs to appear, but it also needs to be able to disappear.
And also now you're back to the sports arena again with your latest collection, Happy Rui. And also I've noticed it's the men who've become far more conscious. Earlier we said that a woman couldn't have enough shoes, but it's now the opposite. It's the men who can't have enough sneakers and shoes.
It's true. There is a bit of fetishism in sneakers with men. And so, funny enough, I would associate the sneakers for men almost like a pump for women. It has the same purpose in a way. It's an empowerment in a way, and it also nourishes this desire to have more and more and to like it and to be pretty obsessed by it. Yeah, a lot of men are obsessed by their shoes.
And so a little bit about your collection, Happy Rui.
Well, Happy Rui is
a good old tennis shoe that has got reinvented and transformed.
Yeah, exactly. And Happy Rui is by the name of Rui, who is actually it's a Portuguese name. And the idea behind that shoe is that it needed to be a sneakers, which sort of makes you very happy because you can do it. But it's called Happy Rui in reference to Rui, who is Portuguese, who is a friend of mine and who is actually a very happy person. But he's always happy when he has his sneakers, and he's always tapping, listening to music. So it needed to have that vibe also. But in reference to another thing, it's the reference to Rui Freitas, but the other reference, in a way, is, I would say, those sort of dancers that you could see in the 70s where the dancers had like those shorts and those top socks and those sort of mobile sneakers.
And also, I mean, as you said, you were inspired by your friend who's a happy person. On the other hand, your bag collection is also inspired by Elisa, who's your muse. She's an actor, she's a director, she's a writer. So tell us a bit about the bag.
Well,
and what was it about her personality that you've called?
The bag, which carries the name of my goddaughter called Elisa, is a bit, how can I say? First, the bag is a small bag, and it was made in Italy, but it has the hardware is almost like a cartouche. You know, the cartouche is those almost like seals that you find in Pharaonic Egypt, which carry, it's almost like a frame in a way. It's a seal where you have the name of the king or of the queen. So basically the hardware is like a cartouche. It carries the name Louboutin, but it's definitely a cartouche. So the mix of an Italian craftsmanship with a really gold cartouche Egyptian thing made me think of my goddaughter Elisa Sednawi, who is half Egyptian and half Italian. But she also embodies what I think is the life of a woman, and the woman that I love and respect and carry on in my heart all the time, meaning someone who works. She's a mother. Elisa is 30 years old. She's a mother of two. She is an actress. She is a model. She's an activist. A woman who is beautiful, who is having fun. A woman who is taking care of her kids. She's a mother, but she's a wife, but she's also working, and she's also traveling. She's been combining all these things, so that embodies, I would say, the Louboutin girl in a way.
So who's the one person, or who's that quintessential Louboutin woman?
Well, I think I just named it. It would be Elisa.
No one else.
In a lot of ways.
Okay. Also, and what is that one shoe investment that every woman and man must make?
A good old red sole.
I agree with that. And according to you, who has the best collection of shoes, or maybe your shoes, a celebrity?
You know, it's easy for me to name, but I was in New York and I was having lunch with this friend of mine called Blake Lively, and she was showing me her collection, and I was like, darling, I think you've been beating everyone on the bloody collection of shoes.
I can well imagine.
She also speaks so well of, she really sees shoes like objects of desire. She understands everything. Let's say, she can really read between the lines, like where is coming that shoe from, why, etc. She really has a heart beating for that.
Awesome, and she's amazing indeed. Also,
fantastic.
I agree with that. And also, you did work with Sabyasachi for the wedding collection.
Well, it's not the first time that we've been working together with Sabya, and so it's not an experience, it's a collaboration, and so it's different in the sense of experience. You're just expecting things, it may not happen, you don't know where you put your foot on. I know perfectly where I put my foot with Sabya, because we've been working together for the last 3 or 4 years now, and so it's definitely a collaboration. We have a lot of things in common. Sabya is obsessed with details. And obsessed with qualities, and that's one thing which is driving us, the two of us. We have the same obsession for that, and another obsession, which is food. So on those 3 topics, the collaboration is very easy.
So since you're talking about food and you are visiting India, do you have a favorite Indian cuisine that you just can't get enough of while you're here?
Yes. But the first time I went to India, this is 40 years ago, and I was a teenager. And the first time I went to a restaurant, I even remember, and I could even go closed eyes back to that restaurant. It's because it was in Mumbai, and it's called Gaylord.
Gaylord, of course.
Gaylord. And I remember my first meal at Gaylord, it was tandoori chicken, then there was a mutton biryani. They had great cheese naan, but I started with a garlic naan. I had a beer, it was forbidden. It was coming in a covered pot. I asked for beer, they were bringing me tea. I said, no tea, beer. And then at one point they poured the teapot and there was beer inside. So I had a beer and I had a sweet lassi. So I've been loving a lot of other things since in India, but I have to say these are my icons food in India. I always go back.
And other than that, are you familiar with our, as you see, the Indian designers and clothes are very opulent also, and it's always showcased in our films.
Yeah.
Do you watch any Indian films, particularly any
Yes,
favorite?
Of course,
you do?
You know, I first came to India because I used to see Bollywood movies in the 70s. On the way to my school in Paris, there was a cinema, a theater, where they were playing only Indian movies and also Egyptian musicals from the 50s and the 60s.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I've been seeing. So I do remember my first ever movie scene was with Dilip Kumar, and I thought for a long time that it was Hema Malini starring too. I realized that it was not Hema Malini, who I loved too, but not in that movie because she was not in the movie, and it was called Mangala, Daughter of India. That was the French title, and then I discovered, because I was like, sure, this is existing, sure, I know, I've seen it many times. I realized that the real title is called Anne, A-A-N.
Yeah, of course.
So that was my first ever movie. The song is so that was my first one. Then there was another one important that I will remember was Gurbani. And I remember also because of the songs too. Leila, oh Leila, etc. I had the very big privilege to, I had this friend who took me to the Cinémathèque in Paris, or in Chaillot, and say, you're going to see an Indian movie. I said, great, great, great. And then I arrive and I see a black and white movie, and I thought, not so sure of it. After 10 minutes, we were completely transported by the beauty of the movie. And it was called Devi, by Satyajit Ray.
Okay.
And cherry on the cake, at the end of the movie, the light came up and Mr. Ray was there. So it was a shock for me. It was a shock. I was 16, maximum 17, wow. And my first introduction to Bengali movie was in presence of Mr. Ray.
And what is your take on fast and slow fashion?
Well, you know, I think that fast and slow fashion is just a reflection of what happens in the world in general. A lot of things are slow and fast in the world in general, not necessarily only including fashion. So, on my point of view, everything is existing, everything has existed in a way. I'm much more on the part of the slow slope in a way, because for instance, even just the fact that I love heels is one thing. Heels oblige people to go to a different rhythm, to a different pace. And I think it's important to be able to take the time with a little bit of time instead of going through everything very quickly. And so that's one thing. On that, I like the slow fashion. Even if I love sneakers, I've always designed flat shoes and boots, etc. I think which can carry you in a different way. I think that you need always to mix slow and fast. There are some moments which should be dedicated to slow, and some moments dedicated to fast. Fast has to see with efficacy. Slow has to see with leisure and pleasure in your life. So definitely they should coexist.
Since your shoes are the ones that every A-lister seeks, whether it's Jennifer Lopez, whether it's Beyonce, Blake Lively, and we have actors here wearing as well, do you have a favorite celebrity, or are they all your favorites? One you feel really carries off your shoes so well?
You know, if I have to name one person, it's the most difficult thing. And but let's say here being in India, I would name someone who's been always so dear, grateful, beautiful, that I was admiring, that I was very happy to consider as one of my friends, who was someone with beauty, with charm, having so many things also in reference to one country that I love so much, is India, and who was so meticulous in the way she was dressed and liking things, that really having again that really strong attention to details and being such a beautiful woman. I would say Sridevi, Mrs. Sridevi.
Awesome. And there's one fashion trend or faux pas that really gets to you. You wish people wouldn't do that. Let's hear it from the master.
I would say really a reinterpretation of the Dutch clog. Clog for me with this wooden, thick wooden thing is a thing that I sort of don't consider almost as a shoe. Why? Because to me, shoe is very associated with music, body language, posture, but sound too. You know, the flamenco, you have the sound of it. There is, you know, ballet, there is the sound of the ballet, the tiptoe, etc. And the only moment where I'm hearing, you know, you hear someone coming with heels, I could say, it's a small heel, it's a mule, it's a boot, the way, even just by the sound. And the only time I'm thinking, here is a donkey coming, is when I hear the sound of a clog. You know, there is something which is, it's not even, it's a both fashion. To me, it's the sound that gives the word. When you hear the sound of cluck, 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 and you see a lovely person, maybe you're thinking, oh, I was not expecting that. I was expecting.
Thank you so much, and lovely speaking to you. And let's ask you, which is your favorite binge food?
What is binge?
That's something that you can't resist, that you crave. Guilty pleasure.
I heard that for you it was chocolate. For me, it's not chocolate. It would be, you know what? Being French, it has to be cheese. I cannot live without cheese. French cheese.
Thank you very much. Since you're speaking to Good Times, what's your idea for Good Time?
My idea for Good Time is actually taking time for me and my family, my daughters, and but also it has to see with swimming too. I can't be too far off swimming to immersing myself in water, hot water.
Hot water. All right. Thank you very much, and lovely meeting you.
Thank you.
Thank you.